Hello y'all! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Singleness series episode 4. First off, hold on, before I jump into this, you might notice the beat. We had a family photo shoot today, and I was like, why would I waste a good beat when I can make a video? Anyway, so this is why my face is beat down. Shout out to my girl Jaja. She doesn't miss. I love her so much. But now I'll jump back into this video. This is Singleness series episode 4, and this one's gonna be about idolizing marriage and relationships, because that is something that I've truly fallen victim of so many times, and just something that I feel like is necessary to talk about, because I think sometimes we don't know that we're idolizing it, because I think the word idolize sounds so like intense that sometimes we don't realize that we are putting marriage on like a pedestal or putting it before other things that we really should be prioritizing. So yeah, I actually think for me, the better way to understand idolization for me might be like where your priorities lie. Like if marriage is like such a top priority, or if it's something that's like constantly on your mind always, then that could be a form of idolization even if you don't realize it. So I really want to dive into that today. So here we go. How to know if you're idolizing marriage. If you would have asked me if I was idolizing marriage maybe like a year or so ago, honestly maybe even like 8 months ago, I would probably be like, no, I'm not. I think idolization of marriage is really just like, if it's like really constantly kind of at the forefront of your mind, if this was something that I've fallen victim of, if every time you meet someone you're kind of looking at them as like a potential husband, you could possibly be idolizing marriage. Or if that's just something that you long for so much that you kind of feel like you won't be okay without it, I think those are signs of idolizing marriage a little bit, you know? Yeah, I think for me, I used to definitely look at every like attractive man. I used to be like, ooh, is this my husband, Lord? And be like, it was like, girl, like, stop it. To be honest, how I stopped doing that, how I stopped like looking at every single man like he like a potential husband, a potential like, you know, partner, I think it was really, honestly, I just had to start catching myself in those moments where I was doing that, because I was so used to it and because marriage was always just at the forefront, especially I think with, you know, my sister getting married, all of my friends around me married and stuff like that, or in a relationship, you know, on their way to marriage. I think that it was just something that was really talked about a lot because they were all experiencing that. And so if we're always talking about that as girls, then of course naturally it's going to be on my mind even more. But then also sometimes it would make me feel like I was lacking, because yeah, they had this shared experience that I just did not have. So like, I think it would make me feel a little bit sad. But anyway, I think I just had to start catching myself in those moments where my mind would start going there, because it wasn't just like, and I just prayed and then my mind just stopped thinking that. It's definitely not that. And I did pray for that as well. I will say, like, I believe in the power of prayer 100%, but I also think that faith without works is dead. That's Bible. So I definitely myself had to, if I would start thinking that, I'd be like, oh, Taya, no, you do not know this man. It would literally be like random men I would just like see at church, or like see out to where I'd be like, he's so fine. Is that my husband, Lord? Like, Taya, relax, calm it down. Just because they're good looking does not mean that they're your husband. You know, there's so many other things that go into that, so many factors that go into the person that's truly meant for me and that's meant for you. So like, you know, you got to think about how, like, you know, no judgment y'all, because it's literally been me at so many moments in my life, but like thinking somebody's fine and then like, is this my husband? The jump is it's so big. It's such a big jump, because like, I don't know this man. He could be crazy. So he could be an absolute lunatic. You never know. You don't know, you know. So yeah. Honestly, another thing that I feel like helped me to stop idolizing marriage was realizing I did have it on a pedestal, and so then I would just kind of like, I wasn't as picky as I am now with what I want. I would just be like, ooh, they seem nice, oh, maybe they're my husband. Ooh, they seem great. Ooh, they're handsome. Ooh, they're this, maybe they could be my husband. But then like getting to know people and realizing how specific what I want is, okay, y'all, okay, I don't want y'all to slander me. My list isn't crazy. It's not ridiculous, like it's not ignorant, but it is specific to me, because I think that I just am who I am. I think I am just a kind of a particular person, and it's nothing crazy. Don't slander me, okay? It's nothing insane, but I do have, you know, things that, things that I like, things that I don't really like. So I think there's a lot of factors that go into that. So I was like, so me like thinking that Jeffrey walking across the street could possibly be my husband is like so far-fetched. I mean, maybe, I don't know, Lord he moves in mysterious ways sometimes, who knows? But also like, it's so far-fetched because there's so many qualifications to someone being the man for me. So like, it kind of started feeling like a waste of time, a waste of energy, a waste of excitement, thinking every man that this and this and that was for me. Like, it's really a waste of energy, and I'm the type to call me crazy, but okay, I can't be the only one that does this, but like when y'all like somebody a little bit and like want to know more about them, but you like don't like know them like crazy well, do you guys like stalk them on like the socials and stuff? Because I definitely do that. It's just, this is me be honest here. I gotta be honest. I gotta be raw. I gotta just be true to me. So I definitely do that. And then I get like my heart like super invested over like someone that I barely know, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Or I've done that in the past. I'm not doing that now. Currently, I've cut myself off from that. Praise God. But that's definitely been part of my story. So God bless, and yeah. But so no judgment, but that was definitely something that I did, and that was another thing that I had to stop doing, because it was like I would just prioritize that person too much in my head when they didn't even fully like deserve that from me yet, or I didn't even know if they were that great yet. So I don't know, I think I just realized how many things, or how jumping from barely knowing them to, oh my god, because you're my husband, like I felt like that was such a big jump, and it was such a waste of energy, and I would find myself disappointed, and I just didn't want to continue to feel that over, honestly, disappointment over my own expectations of the way that something could be possibly. So it wasn't even like anybody disappointed me per se. It was like me putting something on such a high pedestal, or having such like a high expectation for something, and it wouldn't be that. So it's really me disappointing myself. But that's another thing. Yeah, I think another way you can idolize, or that I've personally idolized marriage, is just like, when people say like, could you be okay without it? Sometimes I would literally be like, no, I don't think I'd be okay if I never got married. I don't think that I would be okay. And I saw that as a problem, because I felt like, if I can't be okay if I don't have something, then that's me saying that God is not enough for me. And I didn't want to feel like that. And I felt shame for feeling like that. And that was how I felt at a certain point. Like, I did feel like, yeah, God, I don't know. It wasn't like God's not enough for me, but it was like, I don't know if I'm going to be okay if I don't have this. So I don't know. I did not know. It was such like a terrible thought in my mind to never get married, that I was just like, yeah, God, I don't know. And I didn't want to feel like that personally. I felt like that's when I realized, I was like, okay, I think something might be wrong, because if it was not in God's plan for me, but he had plans to do so many other incredible things, or to just like allow me to just be fulfilled within myself, like I desired to desire that, if that makes sense. Like I will say, and I've been in this space, but I was always in a space where I was like, I would rather be alone than settle. I definitely felt that, because I'm like, if I settle, then I'm really not gonna be okay, because I feel like my life could be so much freer, and I could feel so much more peace if I didn't settle for something that wasn't all the way right for me. So I've definitely been in that space for a while, where it's just like, okay, but yeah, if it comes to being alone, and letting God fulfill me, and you letting him do the work that he needs to do in me to be whole enough and content enough within myself to live life without marriage, because not alone. That's another thing that I want to point out. I don't want to say alone, because like I have my family, amazing, incredible friendships that you can have, that I have, that fill my cup. But yeah, so I don't want to say alone, because that's not true. That's simply not true. And I think sometimes we think that, like, well, I'm just gonna be alone forever. Well, no, you'll have people. It just may not be like in a marriage kind of way, which can make you feel in moments alone, if you're living alone and stuff like that. But you won't be alone. You'll just be without marriage. But anyway, if it was God's plan for me to not get married, I'd rather be unmarried than settle. Point blank, period. But then my sister asked me one time, she was like, okay, so Taya, because I was just like down in the dumps. I was like, if marriage isn't in the cards for me, I don't know what I'll do. I was so sad, so sad. This was probably a month before she was getting married and stuff. And I was just like, and you just don't understand. You're not in my situation. I was stressed and pressed. guys. But I remember she was like, okay, but Taya, and like she was like, you know, she was definitely holding space for me to feel the way I felt, which I was so grateful for. And I think it's so necessary for your single friends, y'all. Please hold space for your single friends to feel the way that they feel, instead of trying to just like give them advice all the time. Wow, that was a slap. Instead of just trying to give them advice all the time and then tell them why they shouldn't feel the way that they're feeling. Please don't do that. Please hold space for them and for their emotions to feel validated, and because they're real, you know, and you don't want to just shun them and shut down their feelings. I think feelings are important, but you know, it is important to also work through them and come back to truth. But please hold space. It's so important, and it'll help them to genuinely heal from that, and to genuinely, you know, stop idolizing it, or to, yeah, just to genuinely get to the space that they need to be in by holding space. I promise. It'll be so good for your single friends. Anyway, so yeah, I remember one time, yeah, she asked me, she was like, okay, yeah, she let me have my moment, but then she was like, but if you didn't get married, and she's like, and I believe you will. I really believe that God has that for you. God has that for you. I believe that God has it for me. But if he did not, she was like, would that be the worst case scenario? And when she said that, I was like, no, it would not be the worst case scenario. I think the worst case scenario, well, that's gonna sound really morbid. Worst case scenario is just, it's not being unmarried. That is not my worst case scenario at all, to be honest. Because I think that there are ways that God can still make my singleness feel so fulfilled. If God did not have marriage in the cards for me, because I know that God is good, and because I've seen God comfort me in my sadness and in my hurting and in my pain and in my confusion, disappointment, all of that, I know that he can fill me no matter what situation I'm in. Like, I know that God can fill me. I know that he can be enough for me, because I've seen him be enough for me when I didn't have much at all. When I didn't have friends, when I wasn't close to, you know, my siblings like the way I am, so I genuinely felt like I was by myself. Like, God has always been a constant friend, a constant lover, a constant father. Like, he's really been a constant in my life. So because I've seen him, you know, provide me with what I needed, not with what I thought that I wanted or what I thought that I even needed, but with something that really did fill me. I've seen him do that. I've literally seen him be enough for me. And so I think that I had to just come to a space. After my sister asked me that question, I feel like it switched my mind. But I feel like I came to a space where I just realized, if he was enough for me in this situation, why would he not be enough for me if this didn't happen? Would I be sad about it? Does the thought of never getting married make me a little bit sad? For sure. Would I be a little disappointed with, you know, if that was the outcome? I think I would be, you know what I mean? But I do also know that I know that God is good. I know that he would provide for me in that situation, because I've seen him provide in so many other ways, in so many other situations, with what I didn't realize that I needed, but was exactly what I did need in those moments. So I think it comes to trusting in God that he can truly be enough for you. And I know that's sometimes hard to grasp, and I have not by any means been in that space for like forever, by any, like at all. Like, I would literally just have moments where I'd be like, God, I don't know if you're enough for me. I don't know that I would be okay without this. But I think the evidence is there that he's really been there for me, and his love for me is enough. Because I think one other thing I would say is that sometimes we desire marriage or a person or a partner because we feel lonely inside. I know for me, I felt lonely inside, even though, I mean, I know I didn't have any friends, but I wasn't physically alone. I have a really big family. I know we all weren't always the closest, but I wasn't physically alone, but I felt a loneliness inside of me. And so I always felt like, well, if I just had one person, you know, and preferably in the form of a husband, a boyfriend, a fiance, whatever, you know, a male, you know, that I wanted, you know, to be romantically involved with. I was like, if I could just have a person that could just be there for me all the time and could just do this and never leave and always want to listen to me when I'm down and stuff like that, then I would be good if I could just have that. But I think it was more of something that I was personally dealing with. I think I actually have had experiences where God has sent me, you know, in that state. God has like sent me a person, you know, a person has come my way, and I seized that opportunity, and I was like, finally, this is what I've been looking for. And then realized that that still didn't make me feel less alone, because at the end of the day, as amazing as people can be and as much as they may love you, they still can't be your everything. They still can't fill that void that you feel. So for me, I really, really did have to fill that with God. I prayed about it. It never fully went away, because like people couldn't be absolutely everything that I needed. And I also didn't, in hindsight looking back, I didn't think that it was fair to put that much pressure on people to be everything that I needed, because people are people too. They need to take care of themselves and focus on their lives as well. Like they can't just cater to everything that I need, you know what I mean? Like everything that I need. Obviously, some people are definitely willing to meet certain needs, and I think that's beautiful, but to be everything that you need is a lot to ask for a person. And I think that I really, really desired wholeness. I did, yeah, and I still do desire wholeness over like having someone feel that. So that's that on that. I hope my thing doesn't die soon. Please don't die. So yeah, just to be clear, I don't think there's anything wrong with desiring marriage. I think that is a natural desire. I also believe that God places that desire in our hearts 100%, because I think marriage is something that is so beautiful and so wonderful. But I just think that when it is put higher than God, or put on such a high pedestal that it becomes like, well, God, you're not enough, I need this to feel okay. I think that that's when it becomes idolization, and I've fallen a victim of that. So I don't want you to feel shame, but it is something to just ponder on, so that you can, be like, wow, I didn't realize I was idolizing it. But I think that I actually might be, and then, just asking God to be enough for you. I think I really, really prayed so hard. I did this because I used to idolize friendships as well when I didn't have them, and I just wanted them so bad. But I did this with friendships, and also with, as far as when it comes to marriage, really just praying to God, just for like contentment first. Like I really, really wanted to be content and whole within myself, and just content with God, with me and God, and let that be enough for me. So I prayed for that, and then I also prayed for friendships, and then God sent me friendships. And I'm also right now, currently praying into, marriage and stuff like that. And I haven't always prayed, and I don't always do it. I'm trying to actually get better at it. But yeah, really, really praying for the kind of marriage that I want, and to allow God to be the center of it. And just in prayer for that, because I know when that time does come, it's gonna be beautiful, but it's also gonna be work, and it's probably gonna be a lot of things that I don't know. There's just so much that comes with certain things that you just don't know until you're in them. I've realized that with friendships too. So yeah, that's my spiel, or for me, that's how I knew that I was idolizing marriage. And so I hope this was able to help you to identify if you are as well. And I'm praying for you on your journey toward wholeness, and I'm on this journey too, so we're in it together. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching this episode about idolizing marriage. Like, comment, subscribe, DM me on my Instagram is @TheTayaHunter if you don't follow me already. And yeah, let me know any questions that you'd want me to answer, any topics that come to mind for my Singleness series. And I hope to see you back for episode 5. Bye y'all.